Time for a glorious High Elves versus Dark Elves replay, courtesy of Rider Rohan versus Rocket Roo. This is from a tournament. He didn't specify which, but should be for a good competitive game here. In for it, I should say. Got 4 Reaver Archers, kind of as a vanguard here. I know Rider Rohan's a huge fan of Reaver Archers, and they are very good hybrid sort of bow, melee cavalry, light cavalry, of course, Dragon Princes. As well, we've got the Life Archmage on a dragon. Some lion chariots and lion infantry. Let's see here. Looks like spearmen and archers as well. So fairly straightforward. Nice combined arms. Same thing on the Dark Elf side. We've got a Supreme Sorceress of Dark Magic up on a dragon. Master also in the air. We've got some Dark Shards, including the Bolt Fiends. Bleak Swords up front. Some Corsairs. And some Cold One Knights also protecting the flanks. Looks like 3 Cold One Knights. So let's get things rolling. The Dark Shards are obviously going to be quite dangerous, but they are outgunned pretty heavily here, or outbowed, if you will, with plenty of archers, and the Reavers also able to get in and shoot them and fight them in melee fairly effectively. Dark Shards are decent in melee. The Regiment of Renown in particular, 31 melee defense, 24 melee attack. They're not completely useless. Their shields obviously give them a missile block chance, 55%, which is pretty hefty. But let's see how they do here. The chariots are going to come for a little disruption attack initially. Rider Rohan feints with the dragon, but is immediately going to pull away before those Cold One Knights can get on station, or rather bait and switch with the Dragon Princes, the Fireborn charging heavily into those Cold One Knights. Nice red color scheme for the Dark Elves. Looks absolutely fantastic. Flashing against the bright red also of the Fireborn. Of course, Rider Rohan's rocking one of the classy kind of tuxedo looks. We're going to see a big old Soul Stealer here in the center as these Reavers kind of get involved in the flank here. Really nice multi-charges combined with the chariot to rout off a number of Bleak Swords. This is a great kind of decisive quick break right here. Meanwhile, the Fireborn are having a really tough time, but we're going to see a Dwellers Below try and bail them out here. That'll do extreme damage to those Cold One Knights. They immediately get terrified away as well. So, getting some nice matched combat animations between these two dragons as they vie for power here in the center. It's definitely going in the Dark Elves' favor on the dragon fight due to the 2v1 kind of advantage on the single entity fight here, and the Dark Shards also firing straight into that engagement. But the High Elves have started to wrap up and tear out a lot of the Dark Elves' troops here, and the Dark Shards also getting in melee, getting terrified. Now 1 unit down, and the Reavers can try and follow up and wrap up a lot more of these. Meanwhile, the Elf line just decided, the High Elf line even, just decided to defend against the Dark Elves' attack. And so far, the Spearmen are just kind of holding the line here, allowing their archers to get some serious work done as they now pour their arrows into the Dark Shards. But will it be enough to save Rider Rohan's Archmage? Looking like another Soul Stealer going to be popping off here. And the Dark Elf Dragon Sorceress putting in a few decisive hits there. Looks like the Archmage is likely going to go down here, down below 700 HP. Big melee attack there. That puts her down to about 200, so she might survive. Very small chance. The Reavers are going to try and screen there, and both the Master and Supreme Sorceress failed to get in any more hits. Looks like the Archmage might escape, which would be pretty decisive, but the Chariots also getting heavily chased by the regrouped Cold One Knights. They're going to get eaten up in a pretty big hurry, as they don't have any support in this section. Obviously isolated away from the rest of the army, but the High Elves, the rest of them here, getting a nice charge with those Reaver Archers into the Corsairs, kind of keeping them on the back foot, trying to get some reinforcements to help defend this infantry position, and also using the Reavers to keep this Supreme Sorceress pinned on the ground so she can't pursue. Unfortunately, the Master, of course, is faster, does get out in space, and swipes the Archmage straight out of the air. So loss of leadership is going to be hurting the High Elves for sure. You can see that reflected in the balance of power. Immediately, some of these Reavers tear out. Fireborn charging in here, taking some damage, but trying their best to get in contact. Of course, their Regiment of Renown anti-large bonus helps them fight the Master and the Dragon fairly effectively. But the Dark Elves are in a decent position now. They've got these Cold One Knights ready. Kind of getting pursued by the Pure Main Company, who are themselves getting lit up by the Bolt Fiends. So got to get those Reavers active to start to take out and finish up Now that Murderous Prowess is done, should be a lot easier. I mean, certainly the Bolt Fiends with Murderous Prowess are basically functional low-tier melee infantry, which is pretty interesting, but of course without it, they are going to be much worse off, though the Reavers also are kind of teetering on the edge of losing martial prowess in a couple instances. Dragon also having a lot of HP is going to be a big problem, as is the Master, so we'll see. Elves, High Elves are definitely in for it. I mean, all the Elves are in for it, to be honest, but Reavers are starting to win out some more engagements here. Kind of mop up some more of those Bleak Swords. The Pure Main Company, super clutch, just cleaning up some Cold One Knights here. And yeah, all the Dark Shards also getting dealt with by the Reavers fairly effectively. If the Archers can get set and start to concentrate their arrow fire onto the Dragon, they should be able to take her down. But we'll definitely have to wait and see. A little bit of armor sundering situationally from the Pure Main Company could help. But it looks like the High Elves and a police force here is finishing up backline marauders of the Dark Elves. And with all these Bleak Swords no longer harassing them, the Archers should be able to get set, start to whittle away, finish off those Bolt Fiends. The Dragon came in and cleaned up the two Reavers that were trying to finish off the Dark Shards, but obviously they can get out, and once they're rallied, use their bows to continue contributing here. And it's looking pretty grim in terms of the balance of power, but positionally, Rider of Rohan has a few things going for him, mainly that all of his archers are concentrated in one area and can use that critical mass to their advantage here. The Reavers also being functional with plenty of HP and models still alive, decent amount of ammunition left as well. Big thunder, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it is currently storming pretty heavily outside, so I apologize about the background noise if you can hear it, but just kind of adds to the ambiance, I guess, of this particular battle. Yeah, this map I've featured a few times recently as well, has some stuttering issues, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but there you go. Master's going to swoop in on one unit of archers, but he's a relatively small single entity, can't occupy too many models at the same time, so he's going to actually struggle to effectively shut down those archers. But yeah, here come the Reavers, and the regular, humble, low-tier High Elf bowmen, the true Chads of any campaign, of course, in the early stages. So cost-effective in so many ways, although they are, they're trying their best to reorganize to focus fire here. It looks like one Reaver gets caught up in melee. The second Reaver is actually going to be purposefully thrown into melee. It's actually pretty smart. They're not subjected to the Dragon's charge bonus. They should be able to hold out a little bit longer here. The Soul Stealer also does not hit the two Archer units, which it's not going to do a crazy amount of damage to them, but it will do some damage to them. Meanwhile, the Master over here is getting his armor sundered, getting stabbed by spears, so the combination of the Pure Main Company and these spearmen will be fairly effective in whittling him down over time. So Rider of Rohan, teetering on the brink of army losses, is trying his best to pull it out, but it's looking so dangerous. That Dragon still has a lot of HP to try and finish off. Got some Cold One Knights also trying to come back and help, but Master's leadership, rather, is getting pretty low. And the Archers, of course, still plenty of unit models alive. They are also High Elves, so 27 melee defense is not the worst in the world. 50 melee attack. Supreme Sorceress still got great chance to hit, but might do a little bit less damage than it would other Archer units, obviously. That leadership also, you can see the Archers not routing, actually standing and fighting for some time. Pretty impressive stuff. The Master also not too happy about the situation, so appears to have stabilized, even though Rider of Rohan's still very much behind on the balance of power. Finally, the one Archer terror routes, but the rest of these Archers trying to get in position to fire. Another Soul Stealer, though, is just going to make that job that much harder, as the Dragon Sorceress heals a tiny bit of HP back, deals some damage. It's not enough to finish off the leadership of the Pure Main Company, though, as they are continuing to... Oh, just kidding. They actually route right there and shatter. But there it is. Army losses. Wow, just like that kicks in, and Rocket Rue's Dark Elves are able to just barely squeak out a win. So really well played to both players, honestly. It was a really nice back and forth. And yeah, some different small plays, different RNG could have changed the outcome of the battle, perhaps. But it is what it is. Definitely love the Reaver play here. Rider of Rohan always very scary with his Illyrian Reavers. The Archer's also going to get a really nice amount of value as well. Melee troops of the High Elves generally struggled a little bit. The line chariots, line infantry didn't quite get enough values with what they needed to. Same with the Fireborn. From Rocket Roo's side, my guess is, yeah, missile units do okay. The Cold One Knights, one of them manages to pay for themselves. Also, one of these Corsairs that just got in and fought like low-tier infantry the whole time also got some pretty good value. Same with these Bleak Swords. But the Dragon Sorceress definitely carrying pretty heavily. Must be said, Dark Magic is, in general, very strong, and especially synergizes well with the Dark Elves kind of playstyle of healing that big, powerful Dragon Lord with just very good, cost-effective troops elsewhere on the battlefield. Yeah, it's very tough to deal with for sure, but props to Rider Rohan for taking it on and Rocket Roof for winning it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that one. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.